We're calling the Human Relations Commission into order, and we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I'm going to do a roll call. Chair Davis,
Present.
Vice Chair Stahl-Nash,
Present.
Commissioners Bowman, Cohen-Bowman, Green, Jones, Medeiros,
Present.
and Serafino.
Present.
All right, we've got a quorum. We're set to go.
Thank you. I currently don't have a report to give, but wondering if Vice Chair or if anyone on the commission has a report to give out.
My report is about the homeless and the dispersing that has been still continuing, that's going on, and I'm hoping that we can get the council to make sure that they're not being dispersed, since we're going to be counting tomorrow. So we're hoping that we will be able to count them. At the last meeting, they wanted us to go out at 5:30 in the morning, and I refused. I said it's too early. We're disrupting them in their own habitat, and some of them aren't even going to bed till right before that. So we're at least going to meet at 7 o'clock. Myself and my church, we made 200 breakfast burritos because I told them that I would make those in hopes to hand them out tomorrow. Because I think in the future, I think we need to revisit when we go out, because we're startling them at that time, and we have to be more compassionate about what we do with our unhoused friends, especially in this cold weather. I was happy to hear that the Navigation Center is now going to start having them come in, so that's a big improvement for our city, which they already have security, and maybe Mr. Matula can touch base on that with us a little more, because I think that's a huge, huge deal to make sure that they're comfortable, and especially our seniors. And I would like to see a better relationship with the senior unhoused friends. I want to see if we can get something going, because we have a couple veterans that are out there, and we have quite a few seniors. So I want to see our city doing a better job working with our unsheltered people. It's really important for us to do that. And I know that Marco Carcedenas had dropped off a packet, correct? So I don't know if we're going to get him back on to let us know what his findings were, because he did a survey. So I really think it's important, because we are not going to have this end anytime soon. And as Human Relations Commissioners, it is our job to make sure that everybody in this city has a place to be safely. We don't discriminate against anyone, and that's what the word is out, that they feel that they've been discriminated against because they're poor and unhoused. And we want that narrative to change. We've made leaps and bounds with Broadway Street and the Sacramento Street, so I think that we can do a better job in the future. Thank you.
I was just going to say, I did attend the homeless roundtable. Miss Nash, she kind of told me when it was going to happen, and so I went to it, and it was put on by the I don't know, it's the acronym. What is it? The JCP. And what I noticed was that what they did talk about was we need to have people with more lived experience at the meetings. But then when we had a meeting, when they had a meeting the time before this one, where the unhoused, we got a bunch of unhoused people to show up because there was an incentive of $25. And then they were told they're going to be mailing them a check. So that, how are you going to mail a homeless person a check? So I could see why they wouldn't want to come back to the meeting, but I think that we do need to hear more from the people with the lived experience, because I noticed that that's what was absent at this meeting. But other than that, they did cooperate with like doing the pick count a little bit later. I'll be the first. It'll be my first pick count tomorrow. But yeah, I just wanted to. Oh, I did see. I know that they were supposed to put like a 2-week stop on the sweeps. I did see where they were still going out and like getting rid of all the. I get it, the garbage around the trailers and stuff, but I think that some people thought that they were sweeping. So they kind of got like a little overly anxious. But I did see, even though there was supposed to be a stop on the sweeps because of the pick count tomorrow, that they were still going out and taking. I guess if they had stuff outside their trailer, overflow or whatever, they just dumped it all out. So I just wanted to say that I saw it firsthand, but I didn't. If I was just walking by and see it, I would have thought that it would have been a sweep. You know what I mean? Like that's what it looked like. But I didn't see. As much presence. It just seemed like maybe the City of Vallejo Garbage Department and a police officer. So that was it. Thank you.
I had a question. Is it okay? Is it appropriate to ask a question right now with regards to that comment?
Sure.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. So I remember at the end of last year, there was a conversation around the sweeps and where the belongings of those whose belongings were being swept up was being stored. Was wondering if that is something that whether either of you can actually inform us on the status of where exactly those items are being held. Do you know that?
Oh, she's. Oh, no.
Okay.
Oh.
Hi, Assistant to the City Manager, Natalie Peterson, and I help oversee our homeless program out of the City Manager's office. We do store them off-site. It is at a city facility for fear of individuals trying to find it and potentially break in. We don't publicize the address. What we do is when we store items on the flyers, as well as when we talk to the individuals that we're storing them with, we let them know how to contact myself or Floor, who is my counterpart working on homelessness, to coordinate returning the property. If we have contact information or we know who the individual is, we do try and contact them prior to any disposal, because we save items for a minimum of 90 days. We can and have made exceptions when we're working with someone who's trying to find, somewhere to safely store their belongings. So if they do get moved again, either off of public property or private property, they're not having to go through that. We do have requirements for what can be stored. Items that are soiled, contaminated, maybe wet, and could cause fear of contamination or soiling of other items don't get stored. We also, as part of our policy, Administrative Rule 7.10, which I believe out of the City Attorney's Office, City Attorney Knight may have shared with you. If not, I'm happy to get that to Jason Ackley to share with you guys on what the current protocols are for that. We do our best to save items, but we don't open, boxes or things because we don't know what's in there. So for a risk of safety, but when we are doing encampment cleanups, we try our best to work with the individuals at the location to determine what items they want to leave with, if there's anything that meets storage criteria that we can take for them, and then anything else would be deemed disposable.
Are they provided any kind of information, like I don't know, maybe like a number or something? Excuse me?
Are you following up? Okay, so how many boxes do you have that haven't been claimed?
Oh, okay, we're getting, this item is
Oh.
not on the agenda
Oh,
tonight.
okay.
I allowed her to ask a question which I thought was for clarification, but we're not here to deliberate this particular item. If you'd like to talk about it,
Well, we
staff can
brought it up to Ms. Knight, and she's right.
Okay.
So I guess you're the next one.
So,
Staff can agendize it for you to have a more robust discussion about it at a future meeting.
and I'm happy to get that administrative rule that outlines the process to Jason Ackley to share with the committee.
Okay, next we go to the community forum.
Through the chair, currently do not have any members of the public signed up for this item. Oh, never mind. We do have one member of the public, Melvin Cowan. Please unmute yourself. You have the floor.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. And so, thank you, Chair and Commissioners. My name is Melvin Cowan. I'm a resident here in Vallejo, District 3. And I want to just name something that I believe sits clearly within the purpose of this commission. And I appreciate the conversations thus far, and especially given with what our community has experienced recently. We've seen encampment removals take place, and even December 2024, December 24th, Christmas Eve of 2024, we lost a community member due to an encampment sweep. And that's just been devastating. And so that should cause us pause, not to just give blame, but to ask whether our systems are doing enough to protect people from predictable harm. In particular, I'd like to focus on seniors and people with disabilities, which was raised this evening, who need access to supportive services. For these residents, access to warming centers, shelter, or outreach isn't just about whether a door is technically open. It's also whether they can physically get there, whether their mobility devices are allowed, and whether they can bring a service animal, whether they can manage their medications, and whether someone is there to help them navigate what can be a very overwhelming process. So policies that are framed as neutral, like the temperature thresholds for warming centers, which in Vallejo, ours are significantly lower than other cities like Oakland and San Francisco. Our time or the timing of encampment removals often land very differently for seniors and people with disabilities. What might be an inconvenience for some can be life-threatening for others. And we've seen the consequences. And so this is where I believe the Human Relations Commission has a real role to play, not in running programs or directing staff, but in looking at policy through the lens of equity, dignity, and disparate impact. I think it's appropriate for this commission to consider whether we should be recommending updated policy guidance around warming center access and emergency responses, guidance that prioritizes seniors and peoples with disabilities, ensures reasonable accommodations are built in from the start, and aligns with encampment removals with the availability of accessible supportive alternatives. And so making sure that individuals have the appropriate access and accommodations. And so if we are moving people from encampments, we have a responsibility to make sure the options we offer are actually usable for those most at risk. Otherwise, we're shifting harm and not resolving it. And so as this commission looks ahead to its 2026 work plan and clarifies its focus, I believe addressing the needs of seniors and people with disabilities, especially in moments of crisis, is not a mission creep. It can be core to promoting equal treatment, preventing harm, and upholding human dignity in Vallejo. And so thank you for your time.
And that wraps up our public speakers for this item, Chair.
Thank you. Next on the item is the consent calendar and approval of agenda. Will someone make a motion to approve the agenda?
I will make a motion to go ahead and have the approval of the consent calendar.
Second.
All approve?
Aye.
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 That motion passes unanimously.
Next is the information calendar.
There's nothing on the,
Okay. Look like there's nothing there. It's the action calendar. So the first item on the action calendar is the discussion and development of the 2026 work plan. Previously, I had submitted a draft of this version in which I don't believe is attached here. So,
And I don't have that.
you don't have it?
I don't have, so if I can try to find a copy of it. I don't have the work plan from last time.
Wasn't it attached to last meetings? Wasn't it attached to the back of the last meeting's agenda?
Yeah, let me. It was. So yeah, it was attached to the September 24th of 2025 agenda. So I can give you this after to, or as we share, as I speak to it. So in this framework, I just drafted as a commission, like what steps to take so we can better organize ourselves as a commission. And so in that, there's a 6-phase operational approach. And so the first phase is looking at our internal alignment and infrastructure objective. And so organizing the commission's internal processes, roles, and strategic direction. In that, I believe I asked City Attorney Knight previously, or in an email, with regards to whether the commission needed to identify a shared vision and mission statement. That way we can be on one accord. Because the way that the language is written for the commission, it's really just geared towards, it's very policy structured. And so looking at something that we can all agree to, that can just speak to the essence of the commission. And then I think she said it wasn't necessary, or that wasn't something that was appropriate. Can you confirm?
Yes, she's correct.
Okay. All right.
That being said, I mean, certainly you can go ask council if you could develop a mission statement. It's up to them.
Okay. That's something that I believe that we should work on as a commission, and so we can follow up with those next steps after. The next phase, before I move on to the next stage, we already elected and reaffirmed the committee roles, the chair and vice chair. And so in that, I was looking at creating subcommittees. And so part of the subcommittees was in regards to community engagement and outreach, recognizing that the community doesn't really understand what Human Relations Commission is and how we are here to support and really lift up their voice to and so looking at also to the policy and research, public safety and equity, with iHeart being our mobile crisis team here, understanding the needs and seeing how the mobile iHeart is actually serving the community. And so really bringing conversation and education around that. Housing and looking at housing and vulnerable populations, economic equity and inclusive growth, and education and cultural inclusion. Phase 2 looks at community listening and needs assessment objectives. And so this will With that, we're able to identify in real time the community concerns and the barriers that many residents are experiencing here in Vallejo. And so in that, we'll look at establishing quarterly community listening sessions, rotating with our council members in each district, and having that on a rolling basis. Looking at resident surveys, so we did have a draft of the resident survey. It was during the
Sorry, it was right before the waterfront festival, so during that time.
yes, and so that was allowing us to obtain information in real time with regards to having an idea, because I think all of us have different touch points with the community, and so being able to at least collect those voices in one place was helpful, and I believe we received help from the city to identify a email address for which community members can access or submit that information over to us, or any of the needs or requests that they have. Next, we'll look at focus group partnership with CBOs, so looking at faith-based orgs, youth groups, elders, unhoused community to build that partnership. Looking at partnership mapping, and so identifying cross-sector allies to co-lead discussions, and so leaning into possibly, our law enforcement, our unhoused coalitions, school district, to learn what's happening with our youth and the families that live here, city staff, and any other important organizations. Phase 3 is improving our communication and visibility objective. So this is going to raise the awareness of the commission's existence and our purpose and opportunities for residents to engage. And so phase 4 would include a responsive policy and community education objective, building a bridge between resident experiences and city policies. And so that's where we come in to align the work that we do with that of our council members. So that, because that's their job, is look at the policies, right? And so we need to make sure that we're collecting the data that will support their roles and their movement, moving as they serve the community. 5 phase 5 is looking at partnership and mediation strategy, and so creating pathways for conflict resolution, collaborative problem solving, and mutual accountability. We know that we all share a responsibility to this community. It's not just the city, it's not just the residents, and so how do we come together as one to hold ourselves accountable and make and do the work and support one another. And phase 6 is reporting and evaluation objective, so measuring the impact, adjusting strategies, and looking at the transparency of the systems that we have in place here. And that is it. Any questions?
I unfortunately I was not at the last meeting, so can you email, after she emails you, would you be able to email us that so I can have a copy of that?
Yeah, I can send it out. Now that I know where it is, I will have it shortly.
Thank you. Sounds exciting. Great job.
I just wanted to know, I sent that email when Miss Knight was here, and I said that I had seen that other cities had done they called it a retreat to to build their work plan. So she asked me to forward the video to her so she could see how they were able to create. It's like they didn't go anywhere. They didn't retreat. They did it but it was like a meeting that they had. I mean, they called it a retreat to develop their work plans. I think I sent you the email too with the video attached. It was like Union City or something like that. But I just didn't know if that was something.
You could do what we call a workshop, so that you can get together, and that's the only thing that's on the agenda, and you can have a very free and open discussion about the work plan and actually develop it there. And it can be, set up for enough time where you can actually get the work done, or you can have multiple workshops. So there is a way to do that, yes.
Okay, next on the action calendar is the commission discussion and questionnaire regarding MRG report.
This is a fun one. The city, I've got a brief paragraph to read so that everybody at home can hear, and I've got 5 questions that hopefully can push a discussion here tonight. The city contacted with the Municipal Resource Group to perform a review of city boards, commissions, and committees, make suggestions for best practices, and review them for potential consolidation. The report from MRG was presented to City Council, and staff were instructed to go back and ask for feedback from the members of the boards directly so that we can include it with the report. So these are just a few questions, and if we could just have a brief discussion about them, that would be great. So question number 1, do we all believe that we have the necessary training and tools to help us be effective in our roles on this commission?
Are we supposed to answer this?
If anybody would like to jump in, that'd be great.
So I honestly am going to say no, just because I'm kind of newer to this, and I didn't have any clue what I was getting myself into. But I'm learning as I've gone. But I feel like if I had a little more guidance, I probably would have absorbed and understood a lot more of the policies and procedures a little bit better.
Yeah, I would agree. Like I mentioned earlier, we all work in some different capacities when it comes to engaging with community members. And so, and so I think it would be helpful to really understand what type of tools is the city looking at in order to have commissions and committees and boards be more robust and trained to effectively lead in their positions. So that would be helpful to understand.
Whenever we want me to move on, I'm perfectly happy to. So, do you feel the topics that your commission oversees are easily understandable, focused, and reflect the work you do?
I feel that the topics are definitely understandable. As far as being focused, not so much. I would say recently we've been very focused on the homeless issue because that is the larger item, but currently, no, is very unfocused by far. It's our commission alone, I feel, covers a lot of subjects, and it's just, it's not focused at all.
I agree. I think that's where, because we didn't have a work plan in place, there was nothing guiding us. And so having some type of guide to help us identify what areas to focus on, as well as knowing what the council is working on to better prioritize the work that we do. But yeah, I think that was the goal, speaking with the fellow commissioners around refining our approach to be more strategic and intentional.
Thank you. Do you believe having defined goals and a work plan would help your commission be more effective?
Yes.
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 Do you feel that the recommendations you make, if any, can flow through to city council?
Well, that's the last word. So I do and I don't, because we've been dancing this dance for 15 years, for me, 17 years, with the homeless. I really think that there's a better plan because we can build as many apartments and have some people be in them, but we're always going to have people outside. There's never going to ever be a time that we're not going to have people outside because of whatever mental capacity that they have or the convictions that they don't want to be told what to do. But I feel for our city to stay in a clean area, I believe if we finally get a place for them to be and know that they can go and not be hiding all over the city and disrupting businesses, which that's a big problem, is that the businesses, reality is we're losing businesses left and right. So as human relations commissioners, our focus is on the homeless right now because it is big. We can't get past it until we finally get a place for them to be. So I'd like a better communication back with the city council to have a formative plan on what they're going to do with the people that are going to remain outside.
I would comment that I pretty much attend every city council meeting, either in person or by Zoom. But I would say since I've been in office or in this chair, or however you call it, the commissioner, that we haven't really been able to come up with anything to take to city council yet to even, to see how that flow would work. But I know that we are in touch with Councilmember Matulik. So he's been very helpful as far as letting us know, what we could and could not ask of the commission, of the council, but us as a commission, I don't think has gone to city council with anything that I remember of as of yet.
Thank you. Do you feel a consolidation of boards, commissions, and committees with overlapping focuses would be a positive step for the city?
Yes. I know I'm very talkative
Yes.
today, but I went and spoke at a housing commission meeting, and I was expressing to them, how can we as a commission help your commission? How can we together can help each other? Because I think that if we worked with other commissions, I don't know how that legally that works, but I just think that we should be able to somehow.
So like as far as our commission, Human Relations Commission, working with Measure P, and God, there's another one. Since there's some alignment there as far as, again, iHeart, right? Are you speaking of like that type of context of having, but I know there's some.
That's an excellent answer, and I appreciate it. This was more, the consultant had some suggestions about kind of eliminating some of the boards and commissions and squishing them together to make a more focused, path forward, as opposed to having as many boards and commissions as we already have.
I would have to disagree if that's the case, and that was my understanding by the question. I feel that at that point, it's kind of along the lines of eliminating services, right? If you're talking about welfare services or whatnot, the less that you're offering, that's just what it is there's less. I just feel that if we can get more focused on goals for each commissions, that would be the positive step. But as far as consolidation, I feel that's the wrong move entirely, because then now we're cheating the people of their services.
And remind me again what the purpose of consolidating would be. Is it because the recruitment efforts are staggered?
It was a problem with recruitment. Some boards and commissions just do not have a full group of people. And the city clerk's office is just in a constant chain of trying to fill them. And then some of them, it came down to multiple commissions that might exist that are so close together in, what they deal with, that maybe the possibility existed to kind of pare them down.
Is there a question or concerns around the Human Relations Commission and possible consolidation in regards to us?
You guys were mentioned in the report, but it was more along the lines of you all probably need more focus and attention from council on what your goals should be, and kind of need to be directed, towards the important things that we're looking at. So there was a couple commissions that were in that bucket of more clarity would be great. And that's kind of what the consultant had suggested. There was no consolidating of this board or commission.
Got it. That's helpful.
And that's it for me for this item. I appreciate the discussion and the notes.
Through the chair, we do have a member of the public that would like to speak on this action item. We have a member of the public who would like to speak on this action item. Melvin Cowan, please unmute yourself. You have the floor.
Yep, this is Melvin Cowan. I'm speaking again. I wanted to raise 2 points. In looking at the document that you all are speaking to right now, from the consultant, I just want to flag that in the appendix, what is this, page 25? So in the appendix, page 25, where it says Vallejo boards, commissions, and committees summary, it looks like it has some of the previous council members who are no longer in office that are listed. And I see that it was revised in August of 2025. And so it may be helpful if the consultant is still accessible to be able to engage them. And then also just to have them do another revision just to make sure the correct information is in there with the current council members. And then I just wanted to offer something else that may help. Sounded like there was some uncertainty around whether the commission can advise the council, but maybe just how to do that in a clear and consistent way and just not to overcomplicate things. And so one option could be to agree on a simple process when the commission identifies a policy issue within your scope and just asks the chair or a small ad hoc group to draft a short recommendation, bring it back to a public meeting for discussion and a vote, and then transmit it through to the council liaison, Councilmember Matulik, so it's clear and it's an official commission position. That could give the council clarity about what's coming from the commission as a whole, not from individual members, and it could give a clean way to share insights without stepping into operations. It sounds very basic. I mean, maybe the city attorney, maybe it could work or not. But if it's helpful, it could even be noted as a part of your 2026 work plan so that you have a shared understanding of how recommendations can move forward. So I just wanted to share that and put it on the table as a way that could possibly support the commission's work. Thank you all for your service and your time.
No other speakers at this time, Madam Chair.
Next is number 9, future agenda items, 2026 goals discussion.
Yeah, this had come up, I guess, at the previous meeting. I was informed that we were looking to agendize a discussion about 2026 goals. Nice.
It possible, can we maybe schedule a special meeting to discuss those goals? in between time? Is it possible?
Yeah, I don't see why not. We could,
Okay,
I'd have to poll everybody and find out when rooms were available, but we could do that.
okay.
I do want to do the agendas about what Natalie was giving us, because I know for a fact that one of the elderly ladies' wheelchair was taken and she was returned with somebody else's wheelchair. So I do want to revisit that.
And then are we still going to receive the report for the gentleman that came with the survey?
Yeah, do we need to put him back on the agenda?
That was Pathfinders, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I've got contact information for him. I can get a hold of him, hopefully get something ironed out. I saw that on the last agenda.
Thank you. And I don't know if we officially welcomed you, but it's nice to have you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so do we need to agendize the follow-up discussion?
You do. So
Okay.
that's what I was just talking
Oh,
with
okay.
Jason about. So if you're going to do a special, what he was asking is, could he bring those back so you could have the agendized to agendized discussion and then add the items at the next regular meeting?
Okay.
So that you just get that out of the way.
Okay. If we can agendize for a special meeting to discuss the 2026 goals for the Human Relations Commission?
That you don't have to.
Oh, I don't have
you
to do that?
do that. He can, yeah,
He
he
can
can
do
go
that.
ahead and set up the.
Okay.
It's only for topics that are going to be on the
Okay,
agenda.
so the having Natalie come back for the, is that,
That has to be agendized to
Okay.
agendized.
sorry, I haven't had enough coffee. So we're going to agendize have the city come and further discuss the housing and the storage, the storage for during the encampment sweeps, and then having the agenda. Oh, sorry, should I stop and then we vote on? Okay, and then agendize the Pathfinders for Hope, having Marco come back and present to us.
Do we have to second that? Do we have to second that? Do we have to second that?
There was a question if they need to second the agendizing.
Sorry, this is new to me, this process.
And then moving forward to communicate better with you on our needs, how do you want us to do that?
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Chair Davis, Vice Chair Salmash, Commissioner Medeiros, and Commissioner Serafino, staff. I think the easiest way would typically probably just be a simple email And then we can that would be able to start that conversation. So, but I think, once again, going through staff, if you want to do like a formal process at a meeting like this, or potentially setting up one of your special meetings as a work session type of thing. So that's the type of thing that working with staff, they would be able to give you some great ideas and opportunities of how to kind of go about some of the great conversations you're having right now. So, and the fact that, and I didn't know if Manny was going to bring this, but the fact that it looked like the agenda was accidentally omitting the council liaison report, they were going to offer it that when you guys you commissioners do have your report, I'd be happy to do a council liaison report at that time too. So to expand on some of the conversations that have been happening up here and provide some potential feedback and suggestions and recommendations for the commission and stuff. So, but to answer your question, a simple email can start it, but then maybe go through staff also to see what their guidance may be because it may depend on the topic type of deal too. So that's so I think just a simple email would start that, and then it can work its way to maybe a more formal process depending on what that topic or what the situation may be. If that answers your question. Okay.
So just to be clear, so we're not going to have you do a report, you'll just be part of the conversation with our reports, is that?
For this particular one, I'm going to leave it to.
I'd suggest that we add an item for council liaison report, which we have at all of the boards and commissions that I attend.
Yes.
So it should be there so that the council member can come up at that time and give a report at each meeting.
So it just accidentally wasn't on the
I don't know because I haven't attended this particular commission before, so I don't know what your.
Yeah, he usually has a report. That's right. Yeah. Okay, I just wanted to be clarified. Thank you.
You want a motion to adjourn? Is that what you're talking about?
Yep. If there's no other future agenda items, we'll move to item number 10. Do we want to go ahead and motion for adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
A second.
Aye.
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 And we are adjourned.
See, yes.
Put my hand.